Mike, what do you, as an offense through 3 games, what do you feel good about? What do you feel you can build upon?
I think that we have done an unreal job with putting points on the board and having those plays that can show that we are the best in the country. We're one of the best in the country on our offensive side of the ball, but definitely want to improve on the consistency of doing so. We don't want to have lulls in games and times where we don't get our jobs done, and I think that that's what we're constantly working towards, is that ability to play the same way at all times throughout the course of a game, and we're getting there. Obviously, we have some things we need to clean up, and we're going to get there. And but like I said, we've done a good job of executing our plays for the most part, and it's just that consistency that needs to build.
Right. Obviously, once you guys fell behind by 4 touchdowns, you had to take a different offensive approach. But just in general, how would you summarize the reasons for the difficulties in the ground game?
In terms of the Michigan State game?
Yes, sir.
I don't think we had too many difficulties at all when we came and watched the film against Michigan State in the ground game. Early on, we were pretty solid in what we did and how we executed. And yeah, I mean, there was obviously a couple plays here and there where we didn't execute to our best ability, and obviously that's not the goal of ours. But for the most part, I thought we played pretty well up until the point where we got behind and just couldn't put the rushing yards on the board like we normally want to.
Right. As an offense, as a leader of the offensive line, as a leader of the team in the offense, what message have you been trying to give to that side of the ball this week?
Well, Coach has preached on it all week. Coach Kelly, he's given us the sense of urgency mantra for this week, and I think it's something we all need to buy into. There is a sense of urgency around our program right now, and especially on the offensive side of the ball, to get our jobs done at all times, no matter the circumstances, and bring that attitude to practice and constantly work on improving and becoming what we're really capable of being, because we've fallen short of that at times this season so far. And it's that sense of urgency that we need to bring to our improvement individually and then as a team as well.
Right. And as you look at your game individually, and as you go into this week of practice, what are 1 or 2 maybe specific things, some real specific things of offensive line play that you want to improve upon?
I think the biggest thing for me is just not worrying about things that I can't control, and that I think that has gotten in the way of my play a little bit this season. And it's football is a game, and it's a game that we put our entire lives into. But at the end of the day, it is a game, and you got to go out and recognize that and have fun with it. And you saw from our offensive line and myself individually in that second half of the Michigan State game, then when all bets were off, it was just time to go play. There was nothing really we could do. We were behind a couple scores, and it was just, all right, let's go play football and see what happens. And we had a blast doing it. Watching the film, watching the game on TV, I'm sure you saw us jumping down, celebrating, being the first guys to the ball, and that's the kind of energy that you need to have at all times. And it's something that I need to continue to focus on and get back to, is that just stop worrying about some things. You know, it's I have to trust what I do. I have to go back to work each and every day, trust the process, and not worry about the end results. And I think that's where I'll have the most of my success.
Is that something you've always had to battle?
I think so. It's always been. I've always had that kind of edge where if I'm not doing it right, I always kind of get in a lull of things, and always it's hard not to focus on the end results of things.
Yeah, I mean, how does it negatively impact the way you play? You get angry in that?
It's not an anger. It's more of a spreading yourself too thin kind of thing. It's one of those things where I have to focus on what I need to do, and what I need to do is recognize an alignment across from me, see what he's doing, and then play ball. And that's one thing that I wasn't doing as well as I would have liked, and I'm starting to improve that. And it's like one of those AA meetings. You got to admit the problem and then keep working on it.
So more of a more of a micro focus as opposed to a macro.
Absolutely.
You can't accomplish, you can't. Gotcha. Thank you.
What did you see, or why did you think things were off in the first half on Saturday?
I think there's just a couple plays that didn't go our way, and I don't think we were necessarily off. Going back on the film, we played a pretty good game offensively, and I think that there's some things like missing a call or turning the football over, or some things that or a bad bounce here and there that kind of threw us off a little bit and stopped the drive or things like that. But for the most part, I don't think that we were off on Saturday. It's just one of those things that they executed more plays than we did, and that's the way football shakes out sometimes.
Mike, how valuable would you say DeSean is to your offense, to your team?
I think that kind of speaks for itself. DeSean is he's our guy. He's everything to us, and there's no words that can describe how valuable DeSean Kizer is to this offense and this football team.
What makes him so special?
His ability to just be the same guy every day. His ability to stay cool, calm, and collected under pressure. It's not every day you see a quarterback that gets down 3 scores or something like that, and 2 games that we've had already this year, and somehow figured out a way in the fourth quarter to come back and give our team a chance to win the football game. And he's done that twice now, and unfortunately we didn't finish like we wanted to, but there's it's not just on him, that's on everybody else. And DeSean is such a special player. He's a special talent, and he's a special kid, and that's what makes him so special. It's the combination of who he is, how he plays, and his position on this football team that it's huge for us.
When you got home Saturday night, or maybe Sunday when you got a chance to think about things, when you realized, hey, we're 1-2, what went through your mind? Was it anger? Was it disappointment? What kind of emotions were you feeling?
Obviously there's a little disappointment. It's things, we haven't won the games that we wanted to win. But at the same time, it's not something that I'm trying to dwell on. There's 9 games left on that schedule up there, and that's what we're focused on, and that's what I'm focused on is getting better each and every week, and that's the only thing you can do as a football player. And if we start focusing on what happened in the last 3 weeks, we're probably going to hit a pretty big wall coming up here in the next 9 games.
What is the motivation now for the next 9 games, knowing that the playoff is probably out of the picture? What motivates you as a player, as a team?
I think it's got to be self and team pride. It's the constant battle to become the best person and player you can be each and every day. And along with that comes the best team we can be every day. And that's the motivation is just to become better and be better and continue to work for that. And everything that we do is about that. And that's the fun thing about what football is. It's such a process, and there's never ever going to be a time where one team or one man has it mastered. There's always something to work on, and there's always something to see differently. And that's why we keep coming back to this game that we all love is because of the challenge that it presents. And our team is ready for that challenge. And just going back to work yesterday at practice, you can see it. Guys are ready to work again, and they're hungry, and that's what we need. And that's the only thing that we can focus on is the next 9 weeks ahead, and obviously starting with Duke. And it's a special characteristic of our football team to be able to do that. And obviously we have some great leadership in our coaches to make us do that and help us focus on that. And the motivation is to just be better.
And then what do you guys see from Duke that makes them a challenging defense to prepare for?
They'll move a lot. They will blitz a lot, and that's nothing we haven't seen before. Every defense brings their own challenge, and Duke will certainly do that. They're a good football team. They're well coached. They have a lot of experience, and but like I said, a lot of it comes down to what we do, and that's the way football is, especially on the offensive side of the ball, is executing what you need to do and what your job is. And doing that against the look that is in front of you. That's the great thing about playing offense, especially offensive line, is a lot of it's in your control. And you just have to be able to see what's happening in front of you and trust the guys next to you to get the job done, and that's what's going to happen.
Mike, Coach Kelly talked about having a better sense of urgency yesterday. That seems like kind of like a nebulous thing for someone outside of the program. For you guys, what does he mean by that? What do you guys need to do to have that sense of urgency, I guess?
Well, it means that there's things that haven't gone our way this season, and the only thing we can do about it is bring a sense of urgency to the way we work. And there's a certain attitude that you have to bring each and every day to practice that we need to constantly uphold now. And not that we didn't before, but there's even a little bit more riding on it now that we have 2 losses. And it's that sense of urgency to just don't fall into a lull because people are saying that our playoff shot is over. It's that sense of urgency that, yeah, we're still playing football. There's still 9 games left to be played, and we have to get better. And there's a lot of things that we need to work on, and it's that sense of urgency that you need to bring individually to work on them. 2013,
I know you didn't play that year, but you guys had 2 losses in September. You had a captain in your position group in Zack Martin. What was sort of his message to you guys in the whole offense after that loss to Oklahoma that effectively knocked you guys out of the championship race that year?
I think it's the same message. I think that's always the message when you're in times of trial is to put your head down and keep working. And it's what Coach Kelly's talking about each and every day now. It's that sense of urgency to bring an attitude and a work ethic in terms of making us better and a more disciplined and highly functioning football team.
Can you guys point back to in 2013? I think it was after losing to Oklahoma, you went and beat Arizona State the week after. Can you take a lesson from that week of preparation that maybe can apply going forward here?
I'm trying to remember. That was a long time ago. There's a lot of football in between then. Yeah, I think that it's not like we've never lost before. It's not like we've been in this position before where we have to bounce back from a tough week and a tough couple weeks, and it's a time that, like I said, it tests a lot of character, and I think it's what we're about on our team is we got the guys that are willing to do that and willing to come into work each and every day, no matter what the outcome of the last couple games have been. And it's because of that, the mentality that we have in our leadership and across the board on our football team.
Just curious, it's obvious the defense is struggling. How much pressure does that put on the offense, knowing that there's not much margin of error, that you have to score a lot of points, it seems like, to win games, and then there's not much margin for error?
I don't think we look at it that way at all. I think, like I've said before, or what I said to Tim about my individual struggle of trying to focus on what's important is exactly what we need to do in terms of our offense and across the board individually, is focus on things that you can't control. I can't control whether or not our defense stops them, and they're going to because they got the right guys on our team and the right coaches in place. But like I said, I can't focus on whether or not Isaac Rochelle is going to have a couple tackles for a loss or Niles Morgan's going to command everything out there. I'm not worried about that because I trust those guys that they're going to get their jobs done, and they will do that. But at the same time, I'm focused on the next play going out on the drive because to be honest with you, I can't remember a time where I've watched a full defensive drive in my time playing at Notre Dame because I'm always on the sideline with the 5 other guys up front trying to work on what we saw the last drive and if we see it again, how are we going to do better? So can't focus on what I can't control, and we're going to do our job each and every play and each and every drive, and then as the season continues, that'll be the best way to do things for us.
You literally a lot of times don't even know what has happened on the field with the defense.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't. Until they tell me it's your time to go, I'm not really worried about them. Because, not that I'm not worried about them, because I obviously care that my teammates are going to do well, but I can't really focus on what they're doing because they need me to do my job. And I can't do my job if I'm worried about somebody else doing theirs. So, yeah, we sit on one side of the sideline each and every week with 5 chairs, center, guards, tackles, and Coach E stands right in the middle trying to figure out what's happening. And I mean, obviously, I'll check up and see what down in the distance situation it is because then it's time to start getting prepared to go out and play again. But other than that, yeah, I don't really see a whole lot until I hear a reaction from the crowd.
Mike, DeSean in the 2 losses has played pretty well, but after the game, he's put the loss on himself. As an offensive lineman, when you hear something like that, how do you react to that? It's
not on him. It's on everybody. Obviously, being the quarterback and the face of our football team, he's going to do that because he's a man, and that's who he is. And he's going to put the blame on himself so that everybody else can try and do better. But we all know it's not on DeSean. It's not on any one particular man in this program, one particular player. It's on everyone, and it's our job to execute. I got to block better. Guys have to catch balls better, run harder, tackle better, whatever it is. It's on everyone to do their job and their part into winning football games, and it's the only way you can win is with a full team effort.